There are things people delay because they are lazy, but that is not what usually happens with important things. What people often delay most are not irrelevant tasks. They delay what actually matters: the difficult conversation, the health exam, the project that could change something, the decision that has been waiting for months, the message that should already have been sent. And this creates a strange contradiction. You know it matters. You know delaying increases discomfort, yet you still postpone. Why? Because delay is often not about lack of intention. It is about internal friction. And internal friction usually appears when a task touches something psychologically expensive. The brain does not evaluate only effort. It evaluates emotional cost. A simple action may become mentally heavy if it contains uncertainty, exposure, possible failure, or emotional consequence. This is why sending one email can feel harder than completing several smaller tasks. The email may carry judgment, or consequence, or the possibility of an answer you do not want. And the brain reacts before the task even begins. It predicts discomfort, then quietly avoids it. This happens faster than most people notice. You do not consciously say, "I am avoiding emotional discomfort." Instead, the mind produces more acceptable explanations. "I will do it later. I need to think better first. This is not the best moment." Sometimes those explanations are partly true, but often they are protective delays. Because starting means entering uncertainty, and uncertainty activates resistance. The important point is this: the more meaningful the task, the more identity may be attached to it. And when identity is involved, delay becomes stronger. A small unfinished task usually carries little emotional charge, but something important can trigger deeper questions. What if I fail? What if I cannot sustain it? What if the result disappoints me? What if this changes more than I expect? This is why people sometimes delay exactly what they say they want most. Because important movement threatens internal stability. Even positive change creates psychological tension. A new project may mean exposure. A health decision may force uncomfortable truth. A serious conversation may change a relationship. So the mind chooses temporary relief, and temporary relief is powerful. When you delay, discomfort immediately drops. The brain learns this very quickly. Avoidance reduces tension. That creates reinforcement, and reinforcement turns isolated delay into habit. Soon the brain begins repeating the same pattern automatically, not because the task became harder, but because avoidance became neurologically efficient, and modern life strengthens this mechanism. Today there are endless alternatives available. The moment discomfort appears, notifications, messages, videos, small urgent distractions, the brain can escape within seconds. That means important tasks now compete directly with instant relief, and instant relief usually wins in the short term, especially when the brain is mentally tired. Fatigue reduces executive control. A tired mind chooses low resistance. This is why many people delay most at night, after already spending cognitive energy all day. The task remains, but internal capacity drops. Then guilt appears, and guilt creates another layer. Because now the task is no longer only unfinished, it also becomes associated with self-criticism, and self-criticism increases avoidance further. Because now beginning means confronting to things, the task itself, and the discomfort of having delayed it. This explains why some postponed decisions feel heavier every week. Time adds emotional weight, and eventually, people misinterpret this as inability. They say, "Maybe I am not disciplined." Often that is incomplete. The issue is not absence of discipline alone. The issue is unmanaged emotional resistance. Discipline matters, but if you ignore emotional friction, discipline collapses faster. So what changes this? First, reduce psychological size. Do not start with the full task. Start with one movement so small that the brain cannot justify avoidance. Not finish, just begin. Because beginning weakens prediction. The brain usually fears anticipation more than action itself. Second, name what exactly creates resistance. Is it fear of result? Fear of judgment? Fear of complexity? When resistance becomes visible, it loses some force. Third, stop waiting for internal certainty. Many important things are delayed because people expect readiness. Readiness often comes after movement, not before. And finally, understand that avoiding what matters has a cost greater than discomfort, because every delayed meaningful action quietly shapes identity. Each repetition teaches the brain, important things can wait, and over time, that becomes character. The opposite also happens. Every small action teaches, I can move even with discomfort. That is how momentum begins, not with motivation, not with perfect clarity, but with movement before comfort arrives. Because what matters rarely becomes easier by waiting. It usually becomes heavier, and the mind knows that, which is exactly why delay feels so exhausting.